This will be a very special what if because this will be the last video that I will be making. I know I scared you guys for a moment. This is the last video that I'll be making on my old PC. So say goodbye to the old computer, 2017 to 2025. Long time. She worked really well. Made well over 600 plus videos on the channel, which is insane. I think it's 637, 638 if you count this one. Actually 639. If this is the case, rest in peace to the computer. But today we are going to be discussing what if Goku had the power Cosmic. Now, some people don't know what cosmic power is. It's going to be based off of a being known as Galactus. Basically, Galactus' abilities, and Galactus has power Cosmic. Now, Galactus is a being, the Eater of Worlds. He's basically a god. He has cosmic infinite power. He eats worlds to survive. He is constantly hungry and starving to feast on planets. Well, Galactus is a big villain to the Fantastic Four and others. But what if Galactus was actually in the world of Dragon Ball? It's not too far-fetched. He could just be a being that was spawned and that he just has omnipotent power, and he uses his cosmic abilities to feast on worlds. This, of course, causes an imbalance, as he's traveling to different universes eating the planets. That's pretty much the God of Destruction's job, which Galactus can actually fight and defeat these beings very easy. Not even the Grand Priest can match Galactus' power. Only Grand Zeno, or Thalama, the Super Dragon, or Marries, who's above all of them, can defeat Galactus. Well, this is what's going to happen. How the story would play out. Galactus would get into a cosmic battle with Zeno. That would last for millions of years because of how strong Galactus actually is. But Zeno is omnipotent. He is above Galactus. Galactus would barely be able to escape with his life, and he is on the verge of dying. And he's floating out in space in Universe 7. Now, Galactus knows that his time is done. He can no longer carry on. The wounds were too much and he was starving and dying of hunger because he didn't have the strength to reach a planet. But then, as he's floating, a near skeletal corpse of Galactus remains. He then sees a small space pod flying near him, and he spots a small infant inside of it. Using what little powers that he has, he sees that this child is intriguing. He can see the baby's future, seeing this Saiyan's potential. And so, he will hand over his power Cosmic so that, in a sense, Galactus lives on. So, he decides that his death is not for nothing. He would then transfer all of his cosmic power to this child. But since he's not at full power, he can give the full power of his cosmic abilities, but it is locked away. The child will need to grow, mature, and reach true strength to unlock more of his power. Now, in doing so, Galactus would then die, as the being who was once a devourer of worlds, could destroy universes, is now gone. Faded away. Now, Zeno believes, as he's watching Galactus die, he didn't see what Galactus did beforehand, giving power to a person. He didn't see that. So Zeno believes that Galactus is gone. He doesn't feel his presence no more, and he believes that the problem is solved. So he forgets about it, and he continues playing, doing his usual thing. Now, as for Goku, his story pretty much goes the same. He still was saved by Bardock, and that's how he met Galactus on the way to Earth. Now, he still would have landed and met Grandpa Gohan. Now, with meeting Grandpa Gohan, he still would have hit his head and thus would have still had the goofy childish nature. His cosmic abilities is locked away. He's an infant, for goodness sakes. To be a young child and even a young adult, there's no way that his body could handle controlling all the power cosmic. He has to learn this. But what abilities would Goku actually have, having the power cosmic or Galactus' abilities? Well, number one, super strength. He would have energy absorption, size alteration. He can teleport objects or galaxies across space, matter manipulation, interdimensional portals, telepath, telekinesis, cosmic awareness. He can create sentient life, restore the dead, and remake dead worlds, including populations to the finest detail. Plus, he has immortality, healing of others, heal himself, force fields, enhanced mental capacity, and more. Galactus has a lot of abilities, and yes, if he wanted to, he could eat planets for energy. It's kind of like what Moro could do, but Galactus does it on a much faster scale. So yeah, Goku's pretty OP, but a lot of these powers are locked away. The one thing that I think we would see early on, as he would still kill Grandpa Gohan by turning into a Great Ape, is Goku's mental capacity would actually be higher. While yes, again, he hasn't been taught much, mind you. He was raised in the Force by his grandfather. But he is more well-mannered, and he does have a higher IQ than normal. So when he does meet Bulma, he is intrigued by her machines that she does have. Another thing to note, he is immortal. Goku will not age once when he reaches maturity. Being around the age of maybe 25, he'll stop aging, as that's a Saiyan's prime age. Realistically, their prime age is 18, but we're just going to say 25, mentally as well. Once when he reaches that peak, he will no longer be aging, as Saiyans don't age past that age anyway. They don't really grow much older until they reach their late 80s, then they slowly start aging. But for Goku, he's immortal. Also, he would have his healing factor. While he did hit his head as an infant, he would recover faster, but he wasn't the same after that. Mind you, he was an infant. He doesn't have the full power. Now that he's older, being over 12 years later, he does have a good healing factor. It can heal fatal wounds, and not only that, he still has Zenkais, so Goku would get stronger depending on the severity of the wound. Well, we're going to then jump forward to where Goku would then still hang out with Bulma, learning about the Dragon Balls, and learning about their magic. Now, magic is not tied to cosmic, so Goku doesn't really sense anything crazy, as they would still meet Master Roshi, and he will still give him the 3-star Dragon Ball. Master Roshi can sense that Goku has tremendous power locked away within him, but he doesn't really know where. No, he's not sensing cosmic, he just senses hidden power. Not cosmic, as only gods can sense that. Now, they would have still defeated the terrible reign of Oolong, and the old woman would still give Bulma and him the 6-star Dragon Ball. Now, originally, when they met Yamcha and Puar, who actually defeated Goku because Goku was starving, this wouldn't happen. Not only is Goku slightly stronger than the original, even if you say he wasn't, and Yamcha attacked him, Goku has enhanced durability as well. He has slightly enhanced durability, strength, and on top of that, healing factor and immortality, and his mental capacity is higher. So yes, Goku might be hungry, it might hinder his strength, but he wouldn't be as badly defeated like he did in the original. He would actually put up a much better fight against Yamcha, maybe winning, but that's a tough call. Either way, Yamcha and Puar would then slip off and started to secretly follow Goku, Bulma, and Oolong on their quest. Now, one thing to note, would Goku use the Flying Nimbus? Yes, he would. Goku doesn't know how to fly yet. Of course, Galactus can fly. Oh, there's a bunch of other things. He can breathe in space and carry on. He can crush a black hole in his hand like it's a Tuesday, but that's later on. But yes, Galactus flying is a normal thing. But no, let's just say for right now, Goku can use the Flying Nimbus. He's still very young. He doesn't know his abilities yet. Now, Master Roshi would use the Kamehameha to put out the flames on the Frying Pan Mountain. Now, he does destroy the castle, but they do find the 7-star Dragon Ball. Now, originally, when Goku defeated the Boss Rabbit and his gang, Mai and Shu stole the Dragon Balls from Goku and the gang. Now, Pilaf did summon Shenron, Oolong made his wish, and later on, while they were trapped in Pilaf's castle, Goku turned into a Great Ape and broke out. I don't think this would happen. With Goku being a lot more powerful than the original in terms of brute strength, I think he would actually be able to break out with more effort, but he wouldn't need his Great Ape state to be destroying everything, so he wouldn't look at the moon. Goku would be able to destroy his way out. Another thing you could do is when Goku transforms into a Great Ape, his mental capacity is way higher. And with the power cosmic calming his spirit, Goku is able to be in full control of his Great Ape state much faster. So, as an infant, you can't really blame him for going crazy, as he was an infant. Now that he's 12 years old, his mental capacity is much higher. When he turns into a great ape and is attacking Pilaf's castle, it's only for a brief moment. As then, Goku would then see his friends, and he would instantly recognize them, and then he would begin actually speaking. And Goku would quickly gain over the primal nature of the Great Ape state, and he actually is in full control. It would be a comical scene seeing him jumping around. I'm a giant monkey, he jumps around, bounces around, he feels super strong because it's a times 10 increase. And he would, comically flick Pilaf and his gang to the moon. It'll be hilarious. Now, Goku would then, of course, transform back. After the moon was then put away, as morning arose, Goku would transform back to normal, as he has to stay a great ape until the moon is gone. This means that he also does not lose his tail. The moon is not destroyed. So Goku and Krillin will still become Master Roshi students after finding launch. And one thing to note is they were actually in bed for 3 days for eating poisonous pufferfish. Fun fact, it wouldn't happen to Goku. Goku can't get poisoned because of his immortality, so he doesn't really get hurt by that. That's just a neat little thing to throw in there. Now, they would then spend the next 7 months training. As during the 7 months, we would see where Goku would far excel Roshi and Krillin in terms of just physical abilities. Number one, his strength, his speed, his durability, his stamina. All of that is way enhanced more than the original. He's way above them. If Krillin is lifting up, 200-pound rock, Roshi's lifting up a 400-pound rock, Goku's over there lifting a 2,000-pound rock. Shocking them that he could do that. Now, of course, that's not shocking for Dragon Ball. People have done that. But it's just for comparison. Goku is many times stronger. He's 5 to 10 times stronger physically than he is in the original. So he's really strong and really fast. Also, Goku would be able to fly. While Goku was training with Krillin is struggling to keep up with Goku, and Roshi has increased Goku's training immensely. Goku was having to push a massive boulder up a mountainside, weighing thousands of pounds. It was, and not to mention, with the angle of going up, it doubles the weight. So Goku was struggling. And he would be able to make it to the top, but he was tired, and then the rock would then fall on him comically, but he would then fall, as Nimbus wasn't there in time. Goku would then be in surprise, as he's about a foot from the ground, he's floating. And Roshi's in shock to see that Goku is actually flying. He quickly gets the hang of it as he begins flying, whizzing around Roshi and Krillin, who was in shock to see that Goku can fly. And Goku loves it. It's almost like being on Nimbus, but not needing it, as he flies around just as fast as Nimbus could. And Goku loves it. Also, Goku then realizes that when he also is underwater, he doesn't need to breathe or hold his breath. Basically, what I mean is he doesn't need to worry about breathing issues underwater. He can hold his breath forever. He can, have no issues. He doesn't feel any strain. As Goku would spend an hour plus down there scaring Roshi and Krillin, he was fine. No issue. This also means that Goku can survive the vacuum of space. He can. And if Galactus can survive the vacuum of space, why can't he survive being underwater? That doesn't make any sense. So, of course, Galactus can. Why can't Goku? And also, he's immortal, so even if Goku was stuck underwater, he wouldn't die, technically. He would just not die. Same with the vacuum of space. But now, we're then going to jump forward into the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament as 7 months have passed. One thing to note is Master Roshi would be in some trouble. Yes, he has kept his training up, he trained hard, but he would defeat Krillin, but against Goku? Unfortunately, there's nothing that Roshi can do, and he knows this. So he would use his experience on Goku, but if you guys watch the original Dragon Ball, Goku actually outwitted Roshi multiple times. This would then actually prove just how smart Goku actually is. Imagine that his mental capacity is even higher. His IQ is higher, which means he fights even smarter. Roshi would have no chance. Goku's too fast. He is too strong. Even when Roshi goes into his buff form, Goku would have knocked him out of the ring. Now, Goku still has a big appetite. He's a Saiyan after all. He's not like Galactus, who is completely starving and he has to eat entire planets. Maybe later on, but I don't see that really happening. That's Galactus' own hunger. And also, Goku's not using the power cosmic like how he should. So, Goku still has just his big appetite. He eats like normal. I don't see why that would change, as a Saiyan already has an inhuman appetite either way. So, we would then jump forward to after the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament. We would then have the Red Ribbon Army Saga. Now, Goku knows how dangerous the Red Ribbon Army is. He has been hanging around Bulma a lot at this time. He would even figure out how to repair the Dragon Radar on his own without Bulma's real help. So Goku would be able to fix it faster, defeating General Blue and Colonial Silver. And he would then fight Mercenary Tao. Now, Mercenary Tao originally defeated Goku pretty easy, but this time wouldn't happen. Goku would absolutely dominate Mercenary Tao, as his punches don't do too much to Goku. Although Mercenary Tao has incredible techniques, Goku's pure durability, strength, speed is much higher than his original self. Mercenary Tao has no chance. Goku would have defeated him, and Goku would then actually fly up to Korin's tower, where he would actually meet Korin himself. Now, Korin would be shocked with Goku's strength, and Goku would take the quote, Ultra Divine Water, as he would take it early. Now, this would increase his strength even higher, and Goku would have absolutely annihilated the Red Ribbon Army. Now, Goku originally, he just defeated the majority of them. Goku would take the fight more seriously. Goku would go out of his way to personally make sure that the Red Ribbon Army was destroyed, destroying most remains of them. That means, would Dr. Gero survive his encounter with Goku? I would say yes, although Dr. Gero was badly wounded, and this would basically turn him into an android. But he has more hatred for Goku. Now, one thing to note, Dr. Gero would never be able to figure out the power of Cosmic. He's limited to Earth's technology. While yes, the androids will be very strong, and we'll touch upon that in a few arcs later, there is no way that he would be able to even touch the power Cosmic. It's beyond his conception of power. He would never be able to figure that out. But now, as a few years have passed, Goku has only grown stronger, learning how to fly, learning his abilities. Goku would then be able to teleport. I think he would figure this out during his 3 years of kind of training his own thing, and he can change his size. Now, it's pretty comical. Goku can be small, or Goku was able to grow himself to be over 100 feet tall, which doesn't slow down his speed, or nor does it really give him any strength or anything. It doesn't really change much. So Goku doesn't really see a use for it, as you're just a bigger target to hit. So Goku doesn't really use that, but he can actually teleport and teleport objects, which is really unique. If Goku looks at a rock, he can teleport it from one area to another, maybe a few feet away, which is really unique to have. And that will be an important skill if he ever gets to a tough battle. But when Goku does show up at the 22nd tournament, he would then fight Tien Shinhan. Now, Tien originally won against Goku. This time, he would absolutely not. Not only is Goku super fast, super powerful, and durable, Tien's abilities would not work on Goku. Also, Goku would be able to sense energy at a much earlier rate, meaning that he can sense Tien much faster. As Goku originally learned the ability from Kami and Popo, this means that he learns it early, so he would have defeated Tien, knocking him out of the ring, making Goku the winner once again. Now this is where we see one of Goku's powers manifest, and Goku didn't even realize that he actually did it. It just kind of happens. And when he does get older, he'll be able to use his ability more. And what is it? Well, if you guys remember, Krillin was killed by Tambourine. That's when Demon King Piccolo then revealed himself. Well, when Goku was holding Krillin in his arms, he was so angry. We would then see Goku's eyes flame blue fire of energy. It was the power cosmic. As Krillin was brought back to life. Krillin and everyone was in shock at how Goku was able to do that, but he wasted no time. After Krillin was okay, Goku would then rush after Tambourine. He would annihilate Tambourine in their matchup. And unfortunately for Demon King Piccolo, due to his old age, it wouldn't have mattered either way. Goku would absolutely annihilate Demon King Piccolo in their matchup. Demon King Piccolo, out of desperation, would still spit out an egg, but this is where our timeline is going to take a short twist. Goku sensed the egg as it flew away. After Demon King Piccolo was then blown up and the celebration was over, Goku would actually take the egg and fly up to Korn's tower. Of course, Korn doesn't want anything to do with that. Go up to Kami. He would meet Kami and Popo, as in the egg would hatch, and we would then see the infant of the Great Demon King, aka Piccolo Jr. Now, Kami's initial thought was to kill it. Now, I know it sounds dark, but it is Kami's other half. But Goku says no, because he learns that Kami is tied to this being. If he dies or either side, they both disappear, and then the Dragon Balls become useless. As Kami then thinks about it, he says, then we will raise him. Try and rid the evil from his heart somehow. So, for the next 3 years, Goku would actually be raised up with Piccolo, and the two would train together, fight together, travel around together, and they would actually become allies. Now, although Piccolo does have a short hatred for Goku in the start, hanging around with Goku for that time does kind of change his attitude, as he's not the nicest guy, but he does respect Goku. And he kind of doesn't really care about what happened to his late father. He doesn't really care about all that. As at that point, we would then have the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. As would Goku get married with Chi-Chi? Yes, he would. Now, why is this? Isn't Goku smarter? Well, yes, he is, but realistically, why would we change the story? It wouldn't make sense for me to get with Bulma at the time, as she was with Yamcha. So, realistically, you're going to have to look at how maybe Goku bounces off Chi-Chi much better, and Goku would probably decide to get with Chi-Chi. Also, Gohan needs the super gains to try and keep up with his dad. Bulma doesn't have the best genes. Chi-Chi does, being a really powerful female. Actually the strongest female on the planet for a long time, until 18 came around, who's an android. But either way, just for simplicity reasons, yes, Goku is with Chi-Chi, and things are normal. They will still have Gohan, and would Gohan have the power cosmic, like Franklin Richards? No, he would not. Maybe. We'll touch upon that maybe way down the line with Gohan's abilities. But as for now, Goku is the main one who has cosmic powers. So for the next 5 years, Piccolo would actually be around this time, and he does meet Gohan a lot more, but mainly Goku. They would actually train together a lot. So they're not enemies. Piccolo's not planning on taking over the planet. He doesn't have an evil mission. That all does not happen. Now, Raditz would still arrive like the original, as Goku, Piccolo, and the others are at Master Roshi's home. Now, Raditz originally got the upper hand on Goku after he hit Krillin into the wall. Goku tried to grab him while Raditz was holding Gohan captive. Raditz got the upper hand on Goku. Now, you could say that maybe he stuns Goku because Goku's guard is dropped. I don't think that would matter, because Goku's pure durability is not tied to his guard dropping. That's just his normal durability. So if that was the case, when Raditz does hit Goku, it does slightly move Goku, but Goku would just grab Gohan in time, actually bringing Gohan to Piccolo, who then grabbed Gohan. Goku would then tackle Raditz during this whole thing will play out, tackling him away to islands that are miles away. Piccolo would then leave Gohan with Bulma and the others, as he would then fly right after to see this matchup. Now, of course, Raditz would then scan Goku's power level, but he can't get an exact reading on it, as it just says error, because Goku's power is different. As Raditz doesn't understand what's wrong with the scouter, it's busted, and so Raditz would then just start flying in, trying to attack Goku. Now, Goku is too fast for Raditz. Now, how strong is Goku in this concept? Well, Goku being nearly 25 years old, being around 23, would show you just how strong Goku actually is. Goku is absurdly powerful. There's no way that Raditz can even come close to matching Goku's power. Now, Goku does have a good hand on his energy, fly really fast, very strong, can teleport and teleport people. He knows how to bring people back to life now, and more. He can maybe do some other things, such as telekinesis, but that's a normal power in Dragon Ball. He can also do telepath. Now, he can't do crazy things like, travel across galaxies, do matter manipulation, things like that. He can absorb energy, though. And he does have cosmic awareness. and he can restore the dead. So he can do some pretty cool things. Now, with this being said, unfortunately for Raditz, he would have absolutely zero chance against Goku. Goku would give Raditz a chance to flee, and Raditz would, out of being terrified. He can't match Goku's power. Now, when Raditz does get to Goku and Vegeta, Vegeta and Nappa would be in shock, as they are a little bit irritated that Raditz lost, but he says, "No, you don't understand. I couldn't even touch him. He's so fast, so strong." They don't believe him. They would beat Raditz nearly to death. They decide to bring Raditz along, and if this Saiyan is a waste of their time, they're going to kill Raditz. So Vegeta and Nappa and Raditz would then all head to planet Earth. Now, it would take about a year's time for them to arrive. Now, this is the case. Kami would then speak to Goku about how there's a teacher far away that could help Goku master his abilities even better. Kami knows that Goku does have divinity or something within him, but he can't pinpoint it. He says that only true Kais or gods can sense his power, and King Kai is the one that he knows. So when they do meet King Yama would let Goku go by, because he doesn't want to have 8 billion people lined up. Now, when Goku sees Snake Way, Goku would actually cheat a little bit. Remember, he can fly, and considering how fast he is, he would get to the end of Snake Way in no time. He would actually see the island way far off, as Goku would actually teleport there instantly. Now, Goku would then comically collapse onto the planet, as he wasn't used to the gravity. But then, funny enough, Goku would then stand back up, as within a few seconds he adapted. Now, why is this? Because of his cosmic power. His power adapts to any multitude of gravity that he's dealt with. It's his adaptability, which is limitless. Now, this is tied to how Galactus can go on different worlds. He can even jump into black holes with no issues. This could be tied to durability, but it's also just tied to him handling the gravity change. Goku's the same way. And also, Goku is way more powerful than the original, so he is able to kind of get up much faster. We saw Gohan do this during the Cell Saga, and Goku, after taking his weighted clothes off, he quickly was adapting to the gravity. This is second nature to a Saiyan. It's all genetic. While yes, Goku was born on Earth with low gravity, he would quickly adjust it 10 times because that's his entire Saiyan coding. Now, he would then tell King Kai a funny joke, and King Kai would be very serious as he then throw a laugh. He explains to Goku on who the Saiyans are and how he has cosmic power. He says the last being to have that, other than Zeno himself, was a being known as Galactus. He was a world eater who traveled across all the 12 universes and 8 planets. But long ago, Zeno defeated him. As King Kai was frozen, as he was thinking, after a long pause, he says, he doesn't even know. But he says, with this power, I can help you utilize it even better. Do things that you originally could never do. Now, of course, he would then train with King Kai, learning the Kaioken technique, which Goku can actually master it. Now, by master, what I mean is due to his immortality, he can stack the Kaioken technique. It does drain stamina, but he can stack it, and it doesn't damage his body because he's instantly regenerating his power. So Goku could go ×3, and while it may swell his body starts being damaged, it won't permanently keep him down. As long as his stamina remains, he will be fine, and he will not be damaged due to the Kaioken attacking his body. So, Goku would do his training for the next, I would definitely say, 10, 11 months plus, as he would then arrive back on Earth. This time, he would teleport to Earth, having a much better handle on his cosmic power, being able to instantly teleport. Vegeta and Nappa would have arrived. They're at the Rocky Wasteland. They just planted the Cybermen. That's when Goku arrives. The Cybermen would have hatched and would have begun attacking the Z Fighters, as Piccolo would have also trained Gohan. With Piccolo being a much nicer teacher, not as crazy strict on Gohan, Gohan would also not be much of a wimp because he had Piccolo around to train him a bit more earlier on. So Gohan is used to Piccolo, so they bounce off each other really well, and they're doing really well training. So Gohan having power level of around 900 to 1,000, 100, I think he'd be around 1,600 to 1,800, which is a pretty good increase for back then. As the rest of Z Fighters are all the same, Piccolo is the same as well. Maybe you could argue he's stronger because he fought a stronger version of Goku at the time. That is very plausible, which I think would happen. So Piccolo's power level was originally around 3,500. Nappa's power level was around 5,000. I would say Piccolo's power level is around 4,000 to maybe even 5,000. This would put him on par with Nappa, so if Piccolo fought him, Piccolo would probably be the victor. He can outsmart Nappa. Now when Goku does arrive, he would instantly kill the Cybermens with a single strike. Nappa would of course try attacking Goku, but to no avail. They can't get a scan on his power level, it just shows error, as it can't read the power cosmic. But Vegeta can feel such a huge pressure from Goku. Nappa has zero chance. He tries everything, can't match Goku's strength. As Vegeta is getting irritated, he would then tell Nappa to stand down. Nappa would try attacking Goku's friends. Goku would then appear behind Nappa, breaking his back like he did. Vegeta would then kill Nappa, and he would then challenge Goku. Even at full power, Vegeta has no chance against this version of Goku, who's too powerful, too fast. Even if his strikes, even if you want to say didn't damage, Vegeta would be scared to see that Goku instantly heals any attack, because he's immortal, and he has a healing factor. Well, Goku would spare Vegeta, as he can sense that Vegeta is terrified of him. No matter what he did, can't match him. Oh, did you guys forget one thing too? Goku still has his tail. He can turn into a great ape. That's why Vegeta wouldn't even try it. While yes, he may think that Kakarot can't control it, but he doesn't want to take the chance. So with Vegeta defeated, he would be terrified of Goku. Goku would then let him go, showing him what mercy means. Vegeta would then flee in his space pod, saying you will regret sparing me, as he would then flee off into space, knowing to God knows where. Now that there was peace, the Z Fighters would enjoy a good time. Frieza never originally went to Namek because they never spoke about the Dragon Balls. Now, what about Raditz? You guys think I forgot about him? Of course I didn't. Raditz was on Earth the whole time when Vegeta and Nappa landed. Raditz knows he can't match him. He just saw Nappa get killed, and Vegeta got defeated by his brother. So Goku would give Raditz two chances. He would tell Raditz, explaining, give up your evil ways and you can live on this planet. Or, you want to be like that guy Vegeta, hop in your space pod and get out of here. As Nappa having nowhere to go, he knows if he goes back to Vegeta, he'll be killed. He decides to stay on Earth this time. While the Z Fighters keep a wary eye on him, Goku's carefree nature, he's of course happy with it. And he's fine as long as he doesn't cause any problems. Fine, right? Our story last ended with Goku defeating Vegeta and Nappa. Now Raditz was now on Earth. Now Raditz had two decisions. He could either leave, as Goku gave him a chance, or Raditz can then stay and be with his friends. But risk of Vegeta coming back and killing them all. But then he realizes something. His brother easily defeated the Prince of all Saiyans. How is his brother so strong? He doesn't know. He knows his brother defeated him, but still, like, how is this possible? So we're going to look into, what about Vegeta? Well, Vegeta just survived this encounter with Goku, and that being said, Vegeta would have a little arc for himself. Well, Frieza would technically never hear about the Dragon Balls, as Raditz Shadow never picked it up, Vegeta and Nappa never talked about it, and this means that Frieza would have no reason to go to Planet Namek. So this means that Frieza would never go. So this means that Planet Namek was never destroyed. Goku would have no real reason to go to Yardrat, and this would change up the story. So what would happen to Vegeta? Well, word would get out quickly on how Vegeta lost a mission again on Earth. I think this would make Frieza unhappy, but a little curious as to who defeated Vegeta. He's one of his top officers, other than Dodoria, Zarbon, and the Ginyu Force. But he would let Zarbon and Dodoria handle that, as Frieza has more important things to worry about. He has no care for the prince. He sees him just more as a dog. So Vegeta would have recovered inside of the healing chamber, and Vegeta would then look around and see Qui appear. Now Qui of course would talk smack to Vegeta. Now Vegeta's gotten stronger. Vegeta would have killed Qui, showing that he can hide his power level. He has no use for the Scouter anymore because he learned how to sense energy. We know this is true because he did this by himself on Namek even before Goku and the others even arrived. Now Vegeta's power level was stated to be around 24,000. In my opinion, since he was defeated by a much more stronger character than his original self, Goku that being, Vegeta's power level would be slightly higher. Instead of 24,000, we're going to go up to 28,000. This, of course, changes a lot of things, as 4,000 does not seem like a high power level, but to the actual scaling of early Dragon Ball Z, it is. If your power level is even 1,000 or so higher, you're tossing the person around a little bit. And we saw this with Vegeta and Zarbon. Now we know that that's just plot and kind of weird scaling, but it's Dragon Ball. But early Dragon Ball Z did have power levels to go behind it, so that's just what we're going off of. He would have killed Doria, who would have found out that Kui would have killed. This would of course bring Zarbon to go after Vegeta. Now when Zarbon transforms, their power levels are equally matched, and I think it would be a bloody battle. But I think Vegeta would have more determination to win and plot armor, so Vegeta would be able to outlast Zarbon. One thing as well for Vegeta's victory is Zarbon's Scouter. Remember, Zarbon cannot sense power levels. Vegeta during their battle could easily destroy it, having Zarbon use his eyes to track him. Vegeta is a gifted fighter. He could take out one of Zarbon's eyes, making him difficult to track, and Vegeta would be able to land devastating blows on Zarbon, being able to defeat him, and that's how Vegeta is actually able to win, but he is severely wounded from this near death's door. But Vegeta would then flee to where Frieza cannot find him for a time being, where he can rest and recover, healing up once again, getting a huge Zenkai of 30 to 40,000. Now, of course, Frieza would find out that Zarbon, Doria, Kui, they were killed, and it was actually Vegeta who did it. Now, this would anger Frieza, so Frieza would then send the Ginyu Force after Vegeta. Now, there are two roads for Vegeta at this point. Vegeta dies, because yes, he can maybe kill Guldo and potentially kill Recoome, but Jace, Berter, and Ginyu would have killed Vegeta. He would have no chance. Or Vegeta is actually smart, and knowing his character, he's not an idiot. Vegeta knows that he has no chance to fight all the Ginyu Force members. Maybe Guldo, Recoome, maybe Jace or Berter, but they were stated to be stronger than Recoome, and they always fight together. And what can Vegeta do? Well, I think what would happen is one option for Vegeta. Vegeta's not one to run away at the same time, so Vegeta does fight the Ginyu Force. And unfortunately for Vegeta, he does kill Guldo. He does actually beat Recoome, but he's badly wounded. Frieza wants Vegeta alive. He wants to personally torture Vegeta for what he's done, and then end him, but maybe have some use for him still. As Vegeta was severely beaten, nearly to death, by Ginyu and Jason Berter. That's when he is on Frieza's ship, on planet Frieza 79. Vegeta was then tossed into the healing chamber as he was then regenerating. Because remember, Frieza and them do not realize that a Saiyan gets stronger when he's injured. This means that when Vegeta fully recovers, the doctors will soon walk in. He knows that they're going to send him over to Frieza, and what else could Vegeta do? So Vegeta at this point would then do what he did on Namek, and he would then distract Frieza and the Ginyu Force. If you guys remember originally, Vegeta used the opportunity to be able to grab the Dragon Balls from the Namek saga and escape. Well, this time he's not grabbing any Dragon Balls, he's just escaping, getting into a space pod and fleeing. Because Vegeta knows that he might be able to take on Ginyu and them, but Frieza being there is a death sentence. He's cocky, but he's not an idiot. Fighting all three of them would be suicide. So he would then trick Frieza and the Ginyu Force by firing Ki Blast on the one way, and then the other way, he would then flee, getting into a space pod and then dipping out of the planet as fast as he can. Frieza was fuming. He would then send Jace, Berter, and Ginyu to go after Vegeta and kill him immediately. Frieza's tired of playing games. This is what Vegeta wanted. Vegeta would then head to a planet nearby where he would wait for the Ginyu Force to come after him. Once when the Ginyu Force does land, Vegeta would use his attack. Vegeta would then appear out of nowhere as the Ginyu Force is in the dark trying to find him. They're using their scouters to try and find his power level, but they fail to realize that Vegeta can hide his power level, so they can't actually see him. Vegeta would then fire 3 ki beams from his fingers that would actually destroy the scouters, leaving the Ginyu Force nearly blind in the dark. So the Ginyu Force would then use their space pods or ki blast to keep light around the area. Vegeta takes this advantage to take them out one by one. Now we know this goes against the Saiyan honor a little bit, to where they want to fight their opponent head on, but Vegeta's a warrior and he is all about survival, killed or be killed. That's how it is. So Vegeta knows that he will do whatever he takes to beat the Ginyu Force. He's being a tactician. Vegeta would then take out Berter within an instant, spiking his power level as they can't sense him now anyway, and Berter was just slapped into the darkness. Now Ginyu has had enough of this. He fires a huge ki blast in the air that stays up, where they can see Vegeta. Now of course they see that Vegeta has just killed Berter by breaking his neck. Jace would then fly right on in. Vegeta would then smirk at Jace, who he throws Berter into Jace, and delivering a powerful punch through Berter's body, who's now dead, and through Jace's body. Remember, Vegeta got a massive Zenkai. He was able to even kind of keep up with Frieza in his first form, but he knows that Frieza can transform. He didn't want to fight all of them at once. Now Ginyu was impressed, as he would then state that your body is extraordinary. Now Ginyu could not see Vegeta's power level, so he doesn't know that Vegeta is stronger than him. He thinks he's still stronger than Vegeta, so that's why he would have no indication of actually stealing his body. And Vegeta's not one to spare anybody's time. He's not here for theatrics, he's here to survive and kill. When Ginyu powers up to his full strength, he flies at Vegeta. The two go at it for a little bit, but Vegeta is far above him. He's multiple times stronger than Ginyu. Vegeta, with the powerful kick to Ginyu's neck, would have launched him into the air, where Vegeta quickly fires a Galactic gun right at Ginyu, and Ginyu would try to change bodies, but it was too late, as he was engulfed by the Galactic gun and killed. As Vegeta would then pant, he finally did it. He defeated the Ginyu Force, but he knows that when Frieza finds out that they're not responding back to him, Frieza is going to lose his mind. So now what's Vegeta going to do? Well, Vegeta can either go after Frieza now because he's confident that he could win. Maybe. Because you have to think, if Vegeta goes after Frieza right now, he knows he can transform. What's Vegeta going to do? Maybe Vegeta could ask for some help. Now, I know this sounds out of character for Vegeta, but it is possible. As Goku was back on Earth, he was with Raditz, and he feels as if something was calling to him. Now, beings like Galactus, they can sense anything across the universe. His key sensing ability is much greater than it originally was. He actually sensed Vegeta's power from far away. He's much more sensitive to it, and he uses it to kind of see who's heading towards Earth from great distances, as he can sense Vegeta's power level spike while fighting the Ginyu Force. I know that seems far-fetched, but it is possible. Goku can sense it. It's very faint, but he sensed a high power spike, and he has a feeling on who that could be. So Goku would then lock onto this power, and he would actually teleport right to Vegeta, as Galactus can teleport anywhere he wants. As it was a really high struggle, but Goku was able to do it, and he teleported right in front of Vegeta, who was out of breath on the floor, shocking Vegeta, and Goku would then look around and say, "Oh, that was you that had the spike power level." Now, Vegeta was shocked with how Kakarot just appeared out of nowhere, and some people are going to ask, well, how's Goku going to get home? He can just teleport home because he knows where home is. So now that he was able to find Vegeta, Goku would ask him, like, man, what happened here? As he sees the dead Ginyu Force bodies around. Vegeta would then back away from him, explaining, as if I need to answer myself to you, this is a perfect opportunity because Vegeta's a bit rested now. He would try fighting Kakarot, as he feels he's much more powerful now, but his punches do little to nothing to Goku. As remember, Goku's power is constantly growing and getting stronger. Against the likes of Goku, it's not going to do much to him, unfortunately. Goku's durability is beyond Vegeta's. As his punches do little to nothing to Goku, he would then grab Vegeta's hand, telling him to calm down and to stop. As Vegeta would realize how strong Kakarot is, he gave up trying to attack him, and he says, fine, whatever. And Goku says, so what's happening here? Who were these guys? And Vegeta says that they're the Ginyu Force, and he explains about Frieza, and we know that Raditz briefly explained to Goku about Frieza, but Vegeta gives his own little take. Now Goku understands this. He says, so Frieza's a real bad guy, huh? And Vegeta says he's pure evil, worse than me, but not to mention hundreds of times stronger than even I am. Maybe even more, we don't know. And he says that he's the emperor of the universe, but I plan on killing him, so don't get in my way. And Goku says, well, if this Frieza guy is true and he's actually out there destroying planets and hurting innocent people, then I'll help you stop him. And Vegeta says, why would you want to help me for? Why? And he explains, well, it's more than just helping you, Vegeta. It's also helping the people that are going to be hurt by this monster and avenging those that he's killed. It's the right thing to do. Which Vegeta hates the softness of Kakarot. Yeah, that's his soft, nasty attitude. Vegeta would scoff and say, whatever. As Vegeta's not a fool. He sees how strong Kakarot is. With Kakarot, he could beat Frieza. Maybe if Kakarot is injured enough, fighting the mighty Frieza, he could jump in, kill Kakarot, and reclaim his title as the #1 Saiyan and the ruler of the universe. It was a cool plan. And Goku says that, where is Frieza currently at? And he says that he's on his planet currently, and we're going to have to head there. So Goku would actually take one of the Saiyans. Now, one thing people ask, can Goku just sense Frieza's power level and just go there? You could. And you could just say that Goku used a space pod and got there within maybe an hour or two of time anyway. Either way, Goku and Vegeta would arrive on planet Frieza 79, where Frieza was fuming. He was furious to the fact that he hasn't heard from the Ginyu Force. They should have killed Vegeta and gotten back here by now. He would then be in shock to see the doors open, to see not only Vegeta walking in, but another strange Saiyan. He doesn't know who he is. He would then begin laughing, stating, and well, the one that I was wanting to kill came right through my doorstep. This must be a gift. Now, Frieza explained that, I don't see the Ginyu Force here. It means that you could have destroyed them. Very impressive. I guess I need to do things myself. Explaining how Saiyans are just roaches that need to be destroyed. They're just a virus that just doesn't go away. And he asks, who is the other Saiyan with you? And Goku says, I'm Goku, I'm from Earth. You know, the usual Goku and Frieza banter. Vegeta says, your fight's with me, Frieza. Bring it on. Now, Goku actually healed Vegeta fully, so Vegeta got another Zenkai on top of that. His power level is actually similar to that when he fought Final Form Frieza on Namek. So when Frieza does step up, he tries tapping his scouter to sense Vegeta's power level. When Vegeta begins to power up, Frieza's scouter shoots higher than his before blowing up. Frieza would try flying and attacking Vegeta. Doesn't work out very well for Frieza, as Vegeta does no damage, as Vegeta just slaps Frieza around like he's nothing, but he mocks Frieza, telling him to go and transform. He knows he has a form. Now, Goku's watching in amazement, but he can sense way more better than anyone else. He can sense that Frieza has a way more power hidden away. Maybe even more than one transformation, he can tell. So when Frieza would begin to transform, going into his second form, the battle would then once again continue. Vegeta dominates Frieza throughout their entire match, even removing some of his tail, ripping one of his horns off. Frieza has no chance. And he sees that not even his third form will compete, which I don't know why he has so many forms. Frieza would then go into his true form, and that's when the fight would take a slight turn for Vegeta, as Vegeta would pretty much get bullied like how he did during the Namek Saga. Unfortunately, it wouldn't turn out very well for him. Even if you want to argue that, okay, he got a Zenkai, he's a little bit stronger than the original, against Frieza, it didn't matter. Even if his power level was 3 million, 5, 10 million if you want to give him so much stronger, it wouldn't have mattered against Frieza. Frieza would have beaten him easily in his final form. Even if you wanted to just highball Vegeta's power level by a massive ton, wouldn't have mattered. No. Once when Vegeta was defeated and thrown to the side, Goku would then step in to fight Frieza. Now, one thing to note, what does Earth think about Goku disappearing, aka his friends and family? As Goku just kinda up and disappeared. He just kind of zipped out of there. Now, they don't really know what's happening, but Raditz has a slight feeling as Goku briefly told him that he senses a high power level. It could be Vegeta. He's going to go there. And it's been a little bit since they heard from him. They're worried about him. Now, Raditz does have his space pod, and what he heard through the communication system, the soldiers were saying that Frieza's fighting these two beings as they're watching from far away, and it's an insane fight. They don't know what else is happening. Raditz then gets a quick understanding that, okay, Kakarot, his brother, actually went to where Vegeta and Frieza are. He's battling Frieza. It then hits him. He explains to other people what's going on, and he says that he's just listening to communications, and it seems like Vegeta is down but alive, but now Goku is now fighting this Frieza monster by himself. As the Z Fighters are worried, Piccolo explains to everyone to remain calm. Goku would not go into danger fully like that, as he knows if he can beat Frieza, then he will. He would have fled already if he knew that he couldn't win. So back to the fight between Goku and Frieza. Now, not only the fact that Goku also has the King Kai abilities, he's stronger than Frieza. Now, hold on about this. We would start seeing it as Goku is fighting a new opponent that with strength that he's never seen before. As the last opponent he fought was Vegeta that has a power level of 18,000 versus a being like Frieza with a power level of 120 million. So take into account that final form Frieza at his full power, if you went, is around 6,666 times stronger than Vegeta. That's pretty impressive. So Goku at first would actually get a bit overwhelmed by Frieza initially, as Frieza's using about 80% of his power fighting Goku. Now this would surprise Vegeta, but he says that we're doomed, Frieza's just too powerful. But one thing to note, that Goku, as he is fighting, he is learning how to access more of his cosmic power. Remember, when Galactus gave him his power, Goku was an infant, he can't control it. When Goku was a young man, he was starting to tap into some of it, but now that he is in his physical prime, he is learning more of the power more and more, and he's getting stronger and stronger, especially when he fights more powerful opponents. That's when his power spikes, and it's only going to continuously grow. And Goku, being such a fast learner, learning an ability that the angels use and gods of destruction have never even learned to master within an hour, shows you how strong Goku truly is and how adapting he is. And Goku's a genius. Goku is learning the power cosmic, learning about it, being able to do new things that he's never been able to do before, and this clearly shows. So, while he is battling Frieza, unfortunately for Frieza, his punches start to do little to no effect on Goku. Goku would then tell Frieza that he's happy, because for the longest time, he's pretty much defeated almost everybody with ease. Frieza was the only one to do a little bit of damage to Goku. Now, of course, we know that it instantly healed because he's immortal and he has a healing factor. He can't die. Goku would continuously grow stronger. Now, Goku would then state that I've never done this before, but I want to try it out. Goku would begin to siphon the power cosmic, which is a form of ki that we're going to use, through his body. His aura, looks like the thumbnail that I showed you in part 1, almost has a universal type of feel, with stars, galaxies surrounding an outer line of his body. As Goku's strength was skyrocketing, they couldn't sense his power level, of course, as Frieza can anyway, nor can Vegeta, but the pressure that both people feel is immense. Now, how strong is Goku? That's for you to know. Unfortunately for Frieza, even when Goku tells him to go all out, Goku was very calm though, as his eyes are glowing a bluish white color with the power cosmic. Frieza at his full power, unfortunately, yes, he can blow up stars and planets like they're ants, but against Goku, it does nothing. Frieza at his full power in his bulky form would try hitting Goku, but it does nothing but break Frieza's own hands. He would try his own Death Beam attack and even his full power Death Ball, but Goku just scoffs it off like it's nothing. No matter what Frieza does, Goku is just too powerful. And there's nothing that Frieza can do. as Frieza would be given the chance to flee by Goku. Of course, Frieza would never listen. He would try attacking Goku again. Goku would have no choice but to kill Frieza and defeat him. Now, once when the power cosmic then dissipates away, Goku's not using it no more, he is then hit by something. Hunger. Such a severe hunger, as his ki sensing is going erratically. He sees that this planet looks delicious. As Vegeta watches in horror, as Goku's hands would then hit the planet as he's beginning to absorb the planet itself, destroying it. Things begin to shake, people begin to run away, but Goku was not fully in control. The hunger is so immense. Vegeta watches in horror as Kakarot's body was almost like a husk of what it was, his clothes barely hanging on, because of him using the power cosmic like he just did, increased his hunger thousands of times more. As Vegeta would then see the planet's going to go, he flees into a space pod as fast as he could. As Goku wasn't really thinking, it was just an insatiable instinct for hunger. As Vegeta flees away, he sees that the planet would then be destroyed. The planet would then blow up, but then stop mid-explosion and then kind of condense. As the energy would then swarm into Goku's body, Goku's eyes would then shoot open as he was back to full strength again, and his hunger was held off for a little bit. Goku would then be shocked that he survived the vacuum of space. He's perfectly fine. He would then look in sheer horror at his hands at what he just did. He just ate a planet and absorbed its power. But he doesn't feel hungry no more. He feels strong. As Vegeta landed on one of the moons that were nearby, the space pod providing an oxygen barrier so he can stand there, he then tells Kakarot, "What the hell was that? What are you?" And he says, "You were nothing but just a mummified husk with just your clothes covering you, and then you hit the planet, and then you made it blow up, and then you absorbed it somehow. What are you? Did you?" And he says, "I ate the planet." And he explains, all those innocent people were on that planet. What have I just done? And Vegeta would then scoff and say, "Innocent? They're not all innocent." And he says, "Have you ever done that before?" And he says, "No." And Vegeta says, "Maybe it was that power that you used to beat Frieza. Maybe it causes you to get hungry or something." And Goku says, "It must be. I don't know." As Goku would then tell Vegeta, says, "What are you going to do now?" And Vegeta says, "Honestly, now that Frieza killed, I have nothing else to really go fighting against." And Goku says, "You can always come to Earth if you want, as long as you promise not to destroy the planet." And Vegeta says, "I don't need your softness, Kakarot." So Vegeta would then just flee. But we know that Vegeta would head to Earth anyway, as he has nowhere else to go. What else is Vegeta going to do? Frieza's gone. Planet 79 is gone. Goku would feel disgusted with himself as he just committed something so horrific. Goku would then flee to King Kai, teleporting there as he now can, and talking to King Kai, asking him about what did I just do? King Kai would calm Goku down and be grim but firm and sit with Goku, explaining about Galactus and also explaining about the insatiable hunger. He says that Galactus was a being that was so strong, defeated by Zeno. As you know, his hunger was so immense that he had to eat planets to survive. And he said, "Unfortunately, that's what you experienced." He says that you're becoming dangerous, Goku. He said the reason why is because the hunger cannot be controlled. You using the power cosmic like you did, using its true potential, true, it dominated Frieza with ease and defeated him. Unfortunately, your hunger was insatiable and you destroyed the planet. He said theoretically, if you had more control over it, you could have used your power to kill and eat Frieza's energy and be vitalized. Remember, Frieza has enough energy to destroy a star. And stars vary by size, but the average star, like ours, can hold 10,000 Earths inside of it. Frieza can at least destroy 10,000 Earths or more if he wants to. Not far-fetched, because even people like Nappa or Vegeta can blow up planets. King Vegeta waved his hand and he was able to destroy 3 planets with ease, so it is easily possible for Frieza to destroy thousands of planets in a single explosion at full strength. That's not far-fetched. King Kai explains that instead, if you're fighting a strong opponent, you don't have a choice but to ever use that power again. Try going after a planet that might be nearly dead, or absorbing the enemy and killing him. Now, Goku doesn't like killing, that's not his thing. And King Kai says, or try to never use the power cosmic. He explains that there are beings in higher power than you can ever imagine, and this power is dangerous. If they find out, Goku, they will destroy you and potentially this universe. That's the reason why Galactus had to been defeated, because he was too dangerous. And Goku understands. He'll try not to use the power cosmic as much as possible, or at least tap into that form that he did. He cannot. So he would then head back home and kind of keep what happened to himself. Vegeta would too, as no one needs to really know about it. Really, it's none of their business. And then things would be peaceful. Vegeta would have still arrived. He wouldn't flee off into space like he originally did to find Kakarot, but he would then leave space to go on his own little training arc. Now, one thing to note, a few years later, Trunks would still arrive. Trunks would be surprised to not see Goku around. Now, this version of Trunks is from the original future timeline, as, again, it makes sense timeline-wise. Why would Trunks have a custom what-if timeline? Maybe down the line might be cool, but that's not the lore that I follow. This is the original Trunks. He would then not see Goku arrive and land, so he would then head over to Chi-Chi's home and see Goku, who he would be glad to see. Maybe he arrived a bit late, maybe Goku arrived a bit early, he doesn't know. He would then speak to Goku privately, asking him about Super Saiyan. Now, of course, Goku doesn't even know what that is. Oh, one thing to note, would King Cold ever show up? No, he wouldn't. And why is that? Well, it's because King Cold even stated himself, why are we going after this Saiyan? Even after Frieza was defeated and nearly killed, he had zero interest in going. He wanted to continue ruling the Empire. But Frieza was so determined, he begged his father, King Cold, to then head to Earth with him, so he went. But originally, King Cold would have never left. This, of course, changes some things. So now, King Cold never arrived. They never saw Trunks nor see him as a Super Saiyan, so Trunks is more secretive, only talking to Goku. Now, Goku has no clue what a Super Saiyan is, which would shock Trunks, but he still fights Goku anyway, going Super Saiyan. And Goku is in base form, but he easily blocks Trunks' attack, and Trunks was amazed with how strong Goku actually is. So Trunks would still trust Goku and give him the heart virus medicine and explain about the androids, when they're arriving, and what time and where. Goku would understand. As Trunks would then leave, he would then train with Gohan, Piccolo, and Raditz. Now, Goku, again, not having Super Saiyan has changed the story a little bit, but we'll still see Super Saiyan soon for other characters. As 3 years later, the Z Fighters are all ready to go. Raditz does know Kaioken, same with Piccolo. Gohan, of course, doesn't. He's a child. But Goku doesn't really have much else to really teach anyone, as he's just training alongside of them. He's really worried about training too hard or using that power cosmic. He doesn't want to eat people or eat planets, theoretically, eating their energy. So he kind of keeps himself from holding back. So he teaches them how to use the Kaioken technique and more, as after the 3 years, Goku and the others would then arrive to fight the androids. The one huge difference, Goku would have zero effects from the heart virus. The heart virus isn't even affecting him. It's already been destroyed a long time ago, as soon as he even manifested, because he's immune to all diseases, all poisons, everything. He's immortal, can't die, nothing. He heals any wounds, even if he had any. The only theoretical way to beat him is if you're omnipotent. Zeno is the only real being that can actually defeat them in this scaling. I know Galactus, if he was actually from Marvel Comics and was in here in Marvel power scaling, oh, he would absolutely one-tap Zeno like he's nothing at normal. But Galactus was scaled to Dragon Ball. He's right under Zeno, but he's even stronger than the Grand Priest at his full strength. But of course, Zeno was omnipotent. He was able to beat him. And the only other way to beat Goku is to starve him. Goku would be starving a hollowed husk. So he wouldn't really be able to use his energy. He would just be a large hollowed out husk statue just kind of floating in space until he was able to find something. Well, as next, we would then have Goku alongside with all of his friends. What would happen past this point? Well, with Goku being at full strength, no issue. Vegeta would soon be there as well as a Super Saiyan, mind you, because the Prince of all hairlines must return. The androids would have been killed. They would have not been able to escape. Now, Dr. Gero and Android 19, would they be stronger and different because of Goku? Well, yes and no. While the androids might be a little bit stronger than the original, in terms of them harnessing the power cosmic is impossible. That's not happening. Nor would they have any kind of like custom things to fight Goku. No one could match Goku's power. And 17, 18, and even Android 16, while they will be a lot more powerful than the original, I would even say being around Cell's first form, even second form level, which is really a lot more powerful, they wouldn't unfortunately have anything special about them. They would just be physically stronger. Now, when they do find Dr. Gero's lab after defeating Dr. Gero and Android 19, Bulma would actually come in and she would actually reprogram all three androids, changing them around. This is when Trunks would also destroy the supercomputer as well. So 16, 17, 18 are kept in a secret lab under Capsule Corp for the time being, as she reprogrammed them, removed the bombs, so they have no threats to kill Goku. They're pretty much back to what they really originally were in terms of feeling wise, but they're still cyber enhanced androids. Now, of course, when they do awaken, Bulma explains, and they thank Bulma for what happened. Cell would still be around, as he still arrived from Trunks' timeline, and Cell would be lurking around cities, absorbing people. Piccolo would soon find out about that, and we would have either Piccolo fusing with Kami, but unfortunately they don't have a Dende, so what are they going to do? But I think something cool we'll touch upon in 1 second is what would happen between Cell. Well, unfortunately for Cell, he would have been killed by either Vegeta, Goku, or even Piccolo. So Cell would have been destroyed either way. No matter what kind of road you want to go down for Cell's arc, there's no way he would have been able to find the androids in time and be able to stop it. Cell would have been killed. Now, of course, we would still have a fight. Who would this be? Vegeta versus Goku, of course. Vegeta, now having Super Saiyan, is more cocky than ever. He wasn't humbled by 18, so he would go and battle Goku. And of course, Goku is holding back. He doesn't want to tap the power cosmic. He's afraid to, as he doesn't want to utilize the full power that he can. He doesn't want to get too hungry and accidentally absorb Vegeta. Look at Goku being all nice as a friend. Unfortunately for Vegeta, Goku was just too powerful for him, as Goku was consistently growing stronger and stronger and stronger because the power cosmic is almost limitless in power. Vegeta would have no chance. If Goku's fighting somebody strong, he adapts. Unfortunately for Vegeta, Goku would have defeated him, but Goku had more of a harder time controlling his power than even fighting Vegeta. Now, Goku was still very hungry afterwards, but not as bad as he was. He does look a few pounds lighter, but with tons of food, and with Bulma even making something for Goku as Goku privately talks to Bulma about the hunger issue, you could even say that Bulma makes something to help Goku feed and get stronger, but I'll talk about that later. As Goku does feel a little bit better, but he's just super hungry. Now, you could even say that Goku can just go to a dying planet and destroy it, absorbing his energy. That could be possible, but touch upon that on later. Vegeta would have lost, and his pride would have been shattered, but he respects that Kakarot is better than him for the time being, and things would then go peaceful, because the Cell arc has already been ended. Cell would never reach his perfect form, not even reaching his second form either, and Gohan would never unlock Super Saiyan 2 at the time, not even Super Saiyan. Piccolo never theoretically fuses with Kami. Now, two things would happen here. I think that would still happen. Hear me out. Goku can make Kami young again. I think Goku would use his cosmic power, as, remember, Galactus can do insane things. He can do anything almost. Goku would make Kami younger, bringing back his youth. Kami's back to full strength again, which would actually give Piccolo a big power buff when he does fuse with Kami. But this also means that the Dragon Balls are practically useless because Kami's been absorbed. But Kami already stated that there's a place called Planet Namek and that Goku can then go there. So Goku would then go to King Kai's world. King Kai would tell Goku the coordinates of where it is. Goku putting his hand on King Kai, he would be able to find the energy source of that planet, and he would instantly teleport there, meet the Namekians, and after a little bit gain their trust and use the Dragon Balls, where he would only realistically use one wish. Actually, two. Knowing Goku's character, he would actually use the Dragon Balls to actually wish back the planet that he destroyed and the people that died on it. I think that Goku would do this on... Now, we're not talking about Frieza. Frieza was killed by Goku another way, not the planet blowing up. So the people that were under Frieza's army and everything were brought back, except Frieza and the Ginyu Force, etc. They were killed separately in a different way, and Goku feels better about what happened. Now, Goku also has a second that he wants. He would then ask Porunga to have the knowledge and the energy location of all planets that have little to no real life and dying planets across the entire universe, if possible, and Porunga would then grant him that wish. So Goku's abilities to then sense are even greater, because now he actually knows locations where these planets are, and there's of course hundreds of planets, you know, that are just scattered, and he could use them for emergencies in case his hunger is too severe. Now, Goku doesn't really have any other use for any more wishes, so he would leave it to the Namekians to wish for whatever they want, as he would pick up Dende and head back to Earth. Now, Piccolo's fused with Kami, so he's much more powerful. Dende's on Earth, making their own set of Dragon Balls, increase them, making them more powerful, and things were peaceful. As past this point, nothing else would really happen. Goten would still be born. Trunks would still be around, of course, not from the future timeline. As one thing to note, what would Trunks do? As Trunks didn't really get any training in. I think Goku would help Trunks before he leaves, as Trunks would have returned, seeing that the androids were defeated early. So Goku would then bring Trunks with him to the Room of Spirit and Time, where Trunks would then be taught how to train correctly and learn new abilities. Where with Goku helping him, Trunks has gotten so much more powerful than the original, and he's more than ready, and Trunks knows how to train as well. As Gohan from the future timeline was never really taught how to train well, his only teacher was Piccolo, who just taught him how to survive and taught him basics. Past that point, he did train with his father for about 3 years, but it was off and on because he was studying. He wasn't a genius like Goku, who studied under plenty of martial art masters, so he never was taught how to train right, and that impacts your power by a lot. So I think with Goku around, he actually trained him correctly and trained Trunks and taught him how to train self-sustainably by himself, and Trunks is much more powerful because of that. So Trunks' timeline is a lot better. He was able to defeat Deborah and Babidi much better. The Supreme Kai is alive in that timeline, meaning yes, Beerus still wakes up and goes after Trunks, as Trunks is the only Super Saiyan God. But realizing that there is no other Saiyans, he would spare Trunks but have him train on his world with Whis. After a year or two time, Trunks would be able to utilize the power of Super Saiyan God, and he would battle Beerus, giving him a good fight. Beerus is very impressed. And as for Trunks, his arc would then just go on from there. He would never initiate the tournament. He would never initiate Universe 6 and 7 tournament either. So, because Beerus is not cocky in his people. Yes, he has Trunks, but that's it. So, Trunks would just stay on Earth and do his own thing, continuing growing stronger. Zeno would, we're going to say, does not blow up the universes in that timeline, because maybe he gives Zeno, Beerus a warning. Another thing is maybe you can say that Beerus offers Trunks to become a god of destruction because Zeno threatened him on how bad his universe is. Or you could just say that Trunks kind of becomes a peacemaker of the universe, travels around, helps the Supreme Kai who works with him, and Trunks is just absurdly strong. That's what you could go down for Trunks, but that's a whole other story for him. But now back to Goku's timeline with Majin Buu and everything else. We will get into that in the next one. In the second part of the What If, we discussed on how Goku used his cosmic power against the mighty Frieza for the first time, which had severe consequences. Goku then sees that this cosmic power is also a curse. He was filled with intense hunger, similar to that of Galactus, who has to feed on entire planets to stay alive. Goku, when he used his cosmic power, was not prepared, and out of pure instinct, he destroyed the entire planet, feasting on its energy. But of course, this is Goku we're talking about. He was horrified at what he did, and Goku is a different person now. Goku, of course, went to Planet Namek to find Dende, where he was able to use the Namekian Dragon Balls to then have a better sight of all the planets, ones that are uninhabited. In case this ever happens again, he can go to planets that are not inhabited by life and destroy the planets, as the planet energy could be enough to sustain him. On top of this, he also brought back the planet that he destroyed, bringing back a lot of the scientists and other people. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that Frieza's back, but we'll catch up on that later. Now, as for the Future Saga, we just briefly went over that. We all know how that goes. There's no way that the androids, nor Cell, who couldn't even become perfect, had a chance. So after the quick recap is done, there would be 7 years of peace, as Trunks went back to his timeline, and we already talked about what happened in his, so Trunks' saga is finished. Now, as for our timeline, for the 7 years, things would be peaceful. Goten would still be born, and things are peaceful on the planet. Goku has never had an outburst again. He's kept his hunger under control. Now, you could argue that Goku maybe feels like he's a danger, so he leaves for those 7 years, and honestly, I think that would happen. Why is this? Well, Goku was terrified at what he did. He destroyed an entire planet where he had no control, it just happened. And yes, he has a better control over the hunger. It's just the fact that he's worried if it does spike again, and he always notices that enemies are coming after him. He has the same mindset that he originally did, so instead of Goku dying like the original, and he just stayed dead, Goku would actually leave planet Earth, and he would begin exploring the universe, as Goku can survive the vacuum of space. So Goku would just explore around the universe for the next 7 or so years, until he can get a better control over his power. This means that when Goku does go to dead planets that have little to no life on it, he does tap into his cosmic form, and of course this does cause hunger, but he notices that the more that he uses it, the more used to it he's getting, so it's not instantaneous starving and he has to feast on life. So Goku does destroy a lot of planets while he's out there, but they're only planets that are dead. They're not planets with life on them. He absolutely refuses, unless the planet is full of pure evil beings that could never be brought back. We're talking like Frieza level of bad. Then maybe he might. But he doesn't like taking life like that. That just goes against Goku's whole character. Now, during his travels, he would find Planet Yardrat, and he would stop by Namek and say hello to thank them as well, stopping by Planet Yardrat, which is nearby. And with that, he would learn how to better control his energy and his spirit. He would also learn the instant transmission technique, which, again, doesn't really be needed for Goku because he can instantaneously teleport wherever he wants to across the whole cosmos. But still, it's a useful technique to learn. Now, while he is exploring, he learns more about Galactus through sources, through ancient texts, throughout the entire universe. He learns that this being Galactus would used to feed on planets, and he would also have heralds. Now, these heralds are avatars that Galactus would find, and viewing them with cosmic energy, they would go search out planets for him to find and destroy. Now, of course, that was Galactus' thing. If Goku really wanted to, he could give Herald some of his galactic powers, aka cosmic, and make them much more powerful, but we'll touch upon that later. Now, during the 7 years, Goku would still arrive back as he has a good handle over his power now, he can control it. As he was happy to see his friends and family again, they arrived for the World Tournament. Gohan, by this point, he still went to school at the Orange Star High School. He met Videl, and he still became the Great Saiyan Man. Now, Videl would still be overwhelmed by Spopovich and Yamu, who again would anger Gohan and make him go Super Saiyan, in my opinion, for the first time, maybe second. And that in turn, they would then take Gohan's energy. Now, the Supreme Kai knows who Goku is. The Supreme Kai knows that Goku was destroying planets and feasting on them, but he kept quiet about it because he doesn't want Lord Beerus finding out. If Beerus found out, he could be terrified of Goku and instantly destroy him alongside with everything else in the way, because Beerus is terrified of that power. Now, he would then ask Goku for help. He knows who Goku is, and he can provide him with more details on what Goku is, if he helps him defeat Majin Buu. And of course Goku would agree, so they followed the energy that Yamu and etc. have taken from Gohan. Now, when they do arrive, Vegeta and the others are there, same with Raditz. They don't really need anyone's help. I still think that Vegeta would kill Pui Pui and Goku would have killed Yakon. As Babidi's getting worried, Babidi would then send Dabura out to go fight. Unfortunately for Dabura, he has absolutely no chance against even Vegeta or even Raditz, who in my opinion by this point still has Super Saiyan 2. Both of them do. Raditz and Vegeta are more rivals than Goku and Vegeta were. Vegeta of course wants to be number one, but he realizes that Kakarot is not normal. Now he's a freak of nature. He saw him eat a planet, so he kind of doesn't compare himself to Kakarot. He does compare himself to Raditz, and Raditz was able to catch up to Vegeta, actually keeping up with him, and they are true rivals. Since this is the case, we would then have Babidi try taking over Raditz and Vegeta's minds. Now, would Babidi be able to take over Goku's mind? Absolutely not. Goku was still a good person, and even if Babidi could try and take over his mind, Goku would instantly reject it, and it wouldn't work on him. Goku's cosmic power is far above Babidi's magic. But Vegeta and Raditz would be trying to take over. Raditz would reject it. Would Vegeta reject it? I think so. The reason why is because Vegeta knows that he cannot surpass Kakarot, and he's okay with being a rival to Raditz because it's pushing him. He's not having a midlife crisis like he originally did because he wasn't humiliated really in front of the androids and even Cell for that matter. So Vegeta would never have that midlife crisis to where he would allow himself to be absorbed. So this means that there's no Majin Vegeta. And unfortunately for Babidi, that means the end, because Babidi would have been killed by the Supreme Kai or Piccolo or etc. And the Supreme Kai would then take Majin Buu's egg. Now, of course, they would never free Majin Buu because, again, Majin Buu could be evil. It's hard to sense, but Goku can actually sense and see that Majin Buu is pure. You can tell. So when they do go to Supreme Kai's world, Goku would go there by himself with a Supreme Kai and Kibito. Goku would actually put his hand on the egg and he would actually free Majin Buu, which would shock the Supreme Kai, telling Goku, are you an idiot? What are you doing? And Goku says, I want to fight him. As Goku can sense that Majin Buu is very powerful. Now, of course, this is Fat Buu, who, of course, is happy to fight Goku. He seems like fun. Goku would have fun fighting Buu, but we know that Goku's not even trying. He is far above Buu in terms of capabilities, and he notices that Buu is very conflicted. He can sense a lot better than what you can imagine. Having cosmic power, he can sense that Buu is split in half in terms of energy. There's pure evil and pure good. So he would then put his hand on Buu's body, where he would then separate the two Buus, the good and the evil. This is with the help of the Ardrat people, as he can separate ki energy, and also too, it's something that Galactus could also do as well. He could separate beings, de-age them, and more. He's a literal divine god. He can do practically anything he wants. So why can't he not separate two people? Now, with the Evil Buu would try attacking Majin Buu and Goku, but Goku would have killed him already, completely incinerating him. I think what he would do is grab him and kind of use his own version of a Hakai, which is his cosmic energy completely incinerating Buu from the inside out, meaning that there's no trace of Evil Buu left. Now, Goku would tell Supreme Kai that Fat Buu is completely harmless now, and he's not going to hurt nobody, and all the evil was separated from him. Now, if this is the case, he says that Buu can hang out here if he wants, but he's more than welcome on Earth, as he's pretty peaceful. So Goku would actually bring Buu back to Earth, and Buu would enjoy time there. People would say there's a pink monster out in the forest, which would then bring Mr. Satan to go find him. Now, of course, the world champion can one-shot Buu if he really wanted to, but he decides to befriend Buu as they become good friends. Now, this is the case, Goku would still be on Supreme Kai's world, as he's learning more about what Galactus was and more about himself. And the Supreme Kai says that it appears that when Galactus was killed by Zeno himself, he was still alive, but he was able to give his power to you. And Goku would then stand there for a few moments, pausing in desperate silence, as he was processing it, and he says, so does that mean that I'll become a monster like him, where he just eats everything? And Supreme Kai says, potentially. He says that if your power continues to rise, your hunger will only continue to grow, but it seems like you have a better control than even Galactus did. His power was so immense that he constantly needed to feed on planets. But you have used the power multiple times and didn't need to constantly feed on worlds. So it seems like him passing his power to you, since now you are the second user of his cosmic power, maybe you're better adapted to it than even he was. Maybe a Galactus 2.0. And he says, but we're just speculating, we don't truly know. And he says that if Beerus finds out, alongside if the angels to the Grand Priest or higher find out, you could be wiped out and destroyed, as they don't want to deal with that again. Now, Goku thinks, oh, that's a bit of a bummer. But anyway, carrying on. Now, what about the events of Dragon Ball Daima? Now, would Daima still happen? Yes and no. If you want to say that Daima does still happen, unfortunately for Goma and the others, they would quickly realize that Goku was there. As Goku, even if he would somehow be reverted to a child, I don't think that would happen. When they make the wish to bring everybody back to being a child, I don't think it would affect Goku. Why is this? If you can say that Goku was reverted back to a child originally, Goku can just make himself older. He's a cosmic entity. And even if so, would the Dragon Ball's magic even work on him? Realistically, the only Dragon Balls that can really cause effect on him is the Super Dragon Balls, which is as powerful as Zeno, and that's equal to being over to magically enhance Goku or change him. The normal Dragon Balls are much weaker than Goku. Could they really change him? Even if they did, he could just make himself an adult again and be fine. Not like he really even cared. As unfortunately for Goma, even with the third eye, Goku would absolutely dominate him in their matchup, and he would have killed Goma in their match. Goma would have had no chance, as there would be no Super Saiyan 4, or would there? You see, you could have people like Vegeta and Raditz show off Super Saiyan 3. As Vegeta was able to reach it on his own, why can't Raditz and the other ones do it as well? And if that was the case, you could maybe even see Raditz unlocking Super Saiyan 4, or even Vegeta unlocking Super Saiyan 4. And both of them unlock it with the help of Neva, using his Demon World magic to unlock their new forms, which would be awesome to see Raditz and Vegeta in Super Saiyan 4 mode. Now, of course, this gives them a huge buff in power, but they didn't really need it, as again, Goma was defeated. So we would probably see a Super Saiyan 4 match between Vegeta and Raditz. And honestly, if their powers would pretty much be dead even, you could see them attacking Goku, as Goku's the perfect person to fight against. And unfortunately, they would still lose against Goku, but again, Goku was amazed with how much stronger they've become. Goku doesn't really need forms. He doesn't rely on Super Saiyans. He doesn't need that power to enhance his strength. Goku has limitless cosmic energy. He doesn't need forms, which I know is a big change to his character. Goku relies on transformations all the time to increase his power. But with cosmic energy like this, he doesn't need to. This cosmic power that Galactus gave him is above the angels and even the Daikaishin, aka the Grand Priest, only under that of Zeno. So you kind of have to look at that and be like, oh, okay, the forms aren't really needed. Not even Ultra Instinct or more is needed because he has the power cosmic. He can be as strong as he wants to be. But in turn, the hunger is the downside. So you have to look at that. So now, carrying on, Lord Beerus will still wake up with the person who can challenge his power, and he would learn about Goku. Now, this would cause a big effect, with Beerus finding out that Goku has cosmic energy, and Whis would even state that this is the child that Galactus himself gave power to. Beerus was worried. If that's the case, he could cause the destruction of the entire universe with a glint of an eye, and Beerus wants to go meet this person. So Beerus would arrive on Earth this time, where Goku was with everyone else celebrating Bulma's 38th birthday party. Now, by this point, Raditz is with Launch, and they have their own child, maybe by the name of Ranch, which would be funny. Goku and Chi-Chi, of course, are together, Bulma and Vegeta, so everybody's happy. Now, one thing to note as well, with Beerus arriving, Vegeta would be a little bit terrified, but Goku was interested in Beerus. He knows about Beerus, and he can sense Beerus' energy. He can even sense Whis' power as well. And he's amazed with how strong Beerus is and how absurdly strong Whis is. He's never met people this powerful before. Of course, Beerus is instantly interested in Goku, checking him out. He asks Goku a couple of questions, and Goku says, no, never really harmed anybody before. I have destroyed planets, which makes Beerus a little serious, but Goku says, no, they aren't planets with life on it. They were only planets that were already dead and didn't really have anything on it, and no life. I even double checked. And Beerus is a little mad at the Supreme Kai for not telling him this news, but he says that he wants to test out his power, as Beerus is here for a fight anyway. So a few things should happen here. I think Beerus wants to be satisfied, but I think it wouldn't be Goku first, because Goku's a little bit worried about the repercussions of using his divine cosmic power. That first up would actually be Vegeta and Raditz. They have a few tricks up their sleeve, and Vegeta needs this to push past his fear and battle Beerus. So with that being said, Raditz and Vegeta would then go Super Saiyan 4 and fight Beerus together. Unfortunately, while they are a good team up, Beerus is pretty impressed with their power. It's not enough to defeat him. Beerus is way too strong, and he would easily defeat them. Goku would then teach them to do that thing, and Vegeta is completely against it as he finds it embarrassing. Raditz says, unless you want to be destroyed by Beerus, do it. And so Vegeta and Raditz would do the fusion dance. Now, whoa, Major Dragon. How would they know about the fusion dance? It's because of Goku. Mind you, Goku for the 7 years traveled across the whole cosmos. He teleported to the other world and learned so many things. He learned from the Yardrats, he learned from the Amorians. Goku can go wherever he wants. He can teleport anywhere. And that's where he went. He talked to King Kai, met the other Kais, learned from them, and he learned the fusion dance. He then taught his friends how to do it. In case he's not here or something happens to him, they can take care of themselves. And this is the perfect tryout to test it on Beerus. So the two Super Saiyan 4s would then line up and do the fusion dance correctly this time. Usually they mess up, but they practiced recently. And they would become Vegeta. Now with that being said, the Super Saiyan 4 fusion was immensely powerful. How strong are they? In my opinion, they're a little bit below Super Saiyan God Goku, but the power is there. But they don't have God keys, so the battle will be a bit more one-sided for Beerus. But they do push Beerus pretty well. Beerus is pretty impressed that Immortal was able to get that strong, but the fusion would go apart and they would lose. Now Beerus is ready to fight Goku, and Beerus is more than warmed up, as Goku and Beerus would then fly off into outer space. And by far off into outer space, I'm talking very far. And by far, I mean millions of light years away. They're going to a dead planet where in case Goku uses up too much power, he can eat a planet. And this is Goku's failsafe. Now Whis would then form a massive sphere around them using his own power, as Whis is a bit intrigued to see how strong Goku actually is. As then, after a moment of silence, like you just heard, they would then clash. Now, of course, Goku is getting warmed up, but Beerus shows the clear upper hand against Goku. He would then grab Goku saying, "Is this all? Is this the legendary power of Galactus?" And I'm not impressed. But of course, Goku's getting warmed up. He's never fought someone like Beerus before. He's never used this much cosmic energy. Goku doesn't have a limit. He's never pushed himself like this. And Goku says, "Fine, I'll show you." Goku would then tap into his cosmic power as it begins to skyrocket his power level, as he's reaching heights that he's never thought he could reach before. And when Goku is in this pool of power, he doesn't sense a limit. There's nothing stopping his growth, as it's almost like an infinite power-up that Goku can pull from. It's nearly omnipotent. Nearly. He's still below Zeno. Beerus was amazed with how strong he is, but then he gets worried with how strong Goku's growing. He's going to soon surpass him. Beerus would then go to his full power, and the two would then clash going at it. Goku's continuous growth, he would actually overwhelm Beerus and easily knock him around soon because he's growing in terms of power. Goku's never pushed his limits before, and see how strong he can become, and now we can see it. Even Whis is getting worried with how fast he just grew within a few short minutes, to where now he's surpassing one of the most powerful gods of destruction like he was nothing. Now, Beerus was defeated by Goku, but now Goku was filled with an insatiable hunger. Mind you, he just used up a lot of energy. Goku would then grab Beerus by the neck, and he would actually absorb Beerus's energy, feeding off of Beerus's power. And Beerus would begin shrinking and almost turning into a husk, nearly killing Beerus, as then Goku would then let him go as he was briefly satisfied. And then Whis would then step in and use his own staff's powers to save Beerus's life. Goku nearly killed Beerus by absorbing all of Beerus's energy that was even left. Beerus looked like a raisin. He was just like a hollowed, mummified husk. And Goku was a bit horrified. He just did it out of pure instinct, but at least his hunger was satisfied. Now, Beerus was actually scared of Goku, what Goku just did. But he gives his respect to Goku, and he would then leave with Whis. As he says, don't ever use that power again and try and keep it under control. He would then leave, heading back to his own world out of fear. Goku terrified him. As Goku would then be floating in the cosmos, he would then just look around and see the beautiful stars and more, just looking at them. As he was scared of himself, this power that he had. He never pushed himself that hard before, but he nearly killed Beerus, which would cause a big problem. And Whis would then tell Goku before they leave that he'll be back. As Goku would then head back to Earth to explain that, yeah, he beat Beerus and he went back to his home, everybody was happy. Now, a few days later, while Goku was training in the bamboo forest, Whis would then arrive by himself. He tells Goku that he wants to speak with him. And he speaks with Goku as they would actually teleport far away from Earth into the deep outer reaches of space where they can talk privately. Whis explains that Lord Beerus is getting older, as he explains that unfortunately your power has a ripple effect. Unfortunately, you, being immortal with that much power to where you can absorb a god of destruction and nearly kill him, will in turn cause the destruction of this entire universe. He says that Zeno will find out, and when he does, he will destroy you alongside with all of your friends and family. Which stares Goku and he says, well, what do I do? And he says, there's really only one safe option for you. And he says that your power is uncontrollable. Your hunger is unsatiable, especially when you use your power. Whis explains, do you know what it means to be a god of destruction? And Goku says, I would never want to be one. I mean, just destroying life is horrible. Whis would then laugh and state, no, it's not all that true. Lord Beerus is a bad example. A god of destruction only destroys planets that are uninhabitable, or planets or deities or people that are so vile and evil that there is no saving them, and they will cause the destruction of your universe. Only in extreme cases. Gods of destruction promote life. They would protect the planets that have living good creatures on it. It's the Supreme Kai's job to then make more life and make it more balanced. Unfortunately, that version of Supreme Kai is not doing that much of a good job, because Beerus is lazy. He says that with you having the title of a destroyer, Zeno would be at more peace with it, having you under control, and you have an unlimited supply of energy to feed upon, and you can keep the universe safe. Now, of course, Goku thinks about it and says, but what about my friends, my family? What, don't they live forever? And I'll just outlive them? Whis would explain that, well, Goku, you already have immortality, which would surprise Goku. Whis says, have you ever granted a true injury? Haven't you noticed that, well, yes, Saiyans don't age past a certain point, but yes, having Galactus' energy, you are already immortal. No matter what, you will outlive everyone that you love and care for. Which would make Goku shudder in sadness as he realizes that no matter what, he's going to be alone. And Whis says that is a price to pay. But Whis says don't turn that price into nothingness. He says take the gifts that you have been given and become something more than just a cosmic eater. Galactus had no care for anything. Living planets, life, he destroyed it all. That's why he was killed. But as a destroyer, you can keep the world going, keep the universe going safe. Maybe be something even more than a destroyer. Something new. And Goku would actually think about this, and Goku would accept. And Whis says, oh, that's splendid, I can't wait. He says, but we'll let the Grand Priest decide, as they might have something even better for you. If not, you can become a destroyer. As Goku would then head back to his friends, he would explain to them what's happened, and they're, of course, angry, worried, depressed. Goku says that he's going to go meet Grand Zeno and the Grand Priest and figure out what to do with them, and he says that if I'm destroyed or anything, just keep living on without me. So Goku would then leave, heading to go meet the Grand Priest and Zeno himself. Now, of course, Zeno was interested in Goku. He's been keeping a close eye on Goku. Zeno is omnipotent. He can see past, present, and future. He knows what Goku can become, something beyond Galactus. When Goku meets him, Zeno would run right up to Goku and shake his hand, and Goku's very happy, friendly nature. People are terrified that he's too carefree with Zeno, but Zeno really likes Goku. He thinks that Goku's not afraid of him. He's super cool. They can be friends. He would then get serious and talk to Goku with the Grand Priest, explaining that Galactus, his problem was that he had such immeasurable power, but his hunger was too much. He then in turn not only ate dead planets, he mainly went after planets that had tons of life on it. And Galactus was not the nicest being either. Zeno said that caused an imbalance, and Gods of Destruction couldn't stop him, so I had to. But then he gave his power to you. But it seems like you have a much better control over your power than even Galactus ever did. And you're still very young. You're only in the 40s, while Galactus was billions of years old, trillions. Zeno explains that with that, I have a proposition for you. And Zeno said this is honestly the only choice that you have, as we need to keep your power under control. As the Grand Priest would then cut in, he would explain that what Grand Zeno means is you will be granted the role of overseer of all 12 universes. What this means is Goku's kind of like the sheriff in town of all the 12 universes. Goku's a righteous-hearted warrior, and they see that. He fights for life and for those who can't defend themselves. He's a good person, plus being the mortal. But Goku's not really mortal no more, and he's much of a divine being. They explain that you can be in the gray area. Be in the middle. Us angels, gods of destruction, Kais, they can't meddle with mortal affairs, but Goku can. Technically being born immortal. They explain that you would basically be the guardian of all the 12 universes, protecting and defeating evil, helping the gods of destruction, helping mortals, saving universes, keeping balance between all 12 universes. Long story short, in more of our simple what-if terms, Goku's basically the sheriff in town. He's the sheriff, he keeps law and order, and he does what the Gods of Destruction can't do. Gods of Destruction cannot meddle in mortal affairs, no matter how dark, unless it destroys the entire balance of the universe. Goku can go deeper than that. If there's anybody evil, like let's say Frieza, Goku can go defeat him. And they say in return, you must keep a tight knit over your hunger, but you are allowed to feast on planets that are already dead, or planets that have so much evil that the God of Destruction and the Supreme Kai approve of within that universe, with an angel's final consent to say yes, then you can. He says if you are fighting an opponent of immense power and evil, and he must be destroyed, you can absorb him as well, feeding your hunger. And it's honestly really smart if you think about it. Zeno and the Grand Priest know how powerful Goku is. He's above the Grand Priest when he wants to. Why not turn Goku into their own version of a weapon? Their own version of a true warrior, a person of mortal control, which means he has so much more reach in terms of making better decisions. And Goku would finally agree. So Goku would then go back to his universe and things would be normal for a short time. As Zeno and the Grand Priest prepare all of this, he would spend time with his family. Now, of course, his main universe will be Universe 7, of course, where he would spend as much time with his friends and family as he can, as we all know that he cannot do it forever before one day they will pass on. Now, of course, what about the events of Beerus and Champa, the Golden Frieza arc? What would happen then? Well, if Frieza was wished back and he was given his golden form, Raditz and Vegeta would technically take over the roles as one of the main characters. Goku would still be there, of course, but he would kind of take a step back, letting Vegeta and Raditz handle it until a threat is too big. He's kind of being how he was in the Buu Saga with letting Goten and Trunks become their own warriors, even Gohan, in case Goku knows that he's not going to be around to protect Earth forever. You know, he's not going to be the 24/7. Vegeta and Nappa need to take over the roles as the protectors of Earth, in case something does happen. So this is a great character arc for both characters, as they would unlock Super Saiyan Blue by this point, being trained by Whis, and having Goku there to spar from time to time. It would be fun. Now this means that Raditz and Vegeta would be able to beat Golden Frieza if he was ever wished back in general. And that being said, what about the Universe 6 tournament? I think it would still happen. But would Goku be a part of it? I don't think so. Why do I say this? Well, because Goku is too OP. And I don't think Champa would allow Goku to be used by Beerus. I think Goku would be more of the Monaka card, maybe like the last person in case Vegeta and Raditz actually loses. And because remember, Champa may not even know about Goku's existence yet, so Beerus would kind of use Goku as a cheap card. And if that's the case, would Vegeta and Raditz be able to beat the likes of Hit? Potentially. Raditz would also, could he learn about the Kaioken technique? That's maybe, but I think the two characters would learn Blue Evolution by this time, getting stronger, and they'll be able to maybe beat Hit in their matchup, probably. Either Vegeta or Raditz unlock Super Saiyan Blue, or even Perfected Blue, and defeat Hit. Now, let's just say that Hit actually beats both of them and they step out because they know that Goku's the last person. Goku would then step in, and the fight would be really one-sided. Hit's time skip doesn't even work on Goku. Goku would just one-shot Hit and defeat him, knocking him out of the ring, and they're the winner. But Beerus would still use the Dragon Balls to then wish Champa's Earth back, so things are all chilling. So, past that point, what about the Goku Black arc? It would never happen. Why is that? Well, it's because originally, Goku Black spawned from Trunks' timeline when Zamasu, of course, saw the wish. Also, Zamasu saw how dangerous Goku was when he transformed. Goku would have never fought Zamasu, and there would be no Goku Black. Why is this? Because Beerus is still alive. This means that Zamasu would have been fully indicted as a Kai, and he would be purged of all evil. So everything's peaceful in Trunks' timeline. Trunks is fine. So there's no Goku Black, so that timeline doesn't even happen. And even if you wanted to argue, well, what if it did? What if Goku Black still somehow appeared? What is he going to do against Goku? Zero. Goku would absolutely annihilate Goku Black and completely, maybe even eat his power and completely eat his energy and kill Goku Black, and Trunks' timeline is saved. Yeah, there's nothing that could be done with Goku Black, and even merged Zamasu, it wouldn't have mattered. So, past that, since that was the case, now that's over. There's no Goku Black arc technically. Now, what about the event of the Tournament of Power? It wouldn't have happened, because Goku would have never gotten the idea and said it to Zeno originally when they met for the first time. So there was no Tournament of Power. Now, originally, this would mean that Zeno would erase Universe 7, but that would not happen. Zeno would not erase the universes because he has Goku. Goku's job is to help the universes prepare and rise up their rankings. Now, if they fail, Goku reports back to Zeno that the God of Destruction, the Kai, is not doing their job. And that's when Zeno handles out his own version of the law, wipes out the whole universe. So that's Goku's job. He basically is the manager of everything. He guards, he protects, he makes sure things are running smoothly, and gets things back to Zeno and the Grand Priest immediately. Now, as for the Broly movie. Now, for the Broly movie, it could not happen because Frieza's not alive. You could say that the Saiyans do meet Chi-Lai Lemo and Broly and Paragus, because how? Well, Chi-Lai and Lemo would still find Broly and Paragus, use their ship to travel around the universe as Paragus learns that Vegeta is still alive. Maybe they could land on Earth after finding out, maybe finding, of course, Vegeta and Raditz there, having Broly, but honestly, I could see Broly turning on Paragus because over time, Chi-Lai and Lemo would change Broly's mind that his father is a bad person, so Broly would in turn leave Paragus on Planet Vampa and leave, where Paragus would probably be killed by Ba or someone else, as he's too old and powerless. Broly's his own character, traveling around the universe, gaining better control over Super Saiyan power, and maybe they land on Earth, and that's where they do meet the Saiyans for the first time, which would be cool, and that's how Broly meets Vegeta and the others. That would be cool. And past that point, then the next arc would be the likes of the Moro arc. If that did happen, unfortunately for Moro, he would have to deal with Goku. Now, Moro being a big danger, Goku's cosmic energy would completely blow up Moro from the inside out because he cannot absorb that power. It's too immense, and he can't sustain that kind of energy. Now, past that, The Gas and Granola arc would never happen. The Red Ribbon Army saga, could that have happened? Yes and no. Even if you wanted to have Cell Max come back and fight Gohan, Piccolo, and the others, maybe you could see Gohan, who unlocked his ultimate form. I think it's possible because the Kais could see Gohan's potential. Piccolo wished for his new orange form. So let's just say that goes the same. Yes, Gohan unlocks his new beast form because he needs to step up as his father's not around much anymore. And then he's able to catch up to Vegeta and Raditz. Piccolo, the same thing. They defeat Cell Max, or maybe just Cell, who just looks like first form Cell, and they were defeated. Now, honestly, the Granola Gas arc would not happen, so past that point, Goku would just be traveling around all the other universes. I definitely think when Universe 11, he would definitely fight Jiren, as he's interested in Jiren's power, and it'll be a pretty intense match, but Goku would win, pretty easy. As Goku by this point would outlive his friends and family, as Goku would arrive on Earth 100 years later. As it's been over 100 years, and Pan is still alive. Pan is around 104 years old, like what we saw in Dragon Ball GT. At the end of it, Goku would smile as he watches Pan, who was watching the tournament, watching a version of himself. It was like Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. fighting each other. As Goku would smile, as he can almost see the ghost of all of his friends there watching in admiration, as Earth has changed a lot. During that time, over the 100 years, the Saiyans were wished back, and a lot of them inhabited Earth. Now there's a lot of Saiyan culture there, and there's a lot of Saiyans, and these Saiyans work with the Galactic Patrol. So Earth is almost a stopping point for warriors to initiate justice. Universe 7 is a flourishing universe, and Lord Beerus has stepped down as the God of Destruction by this point, because he's not the God of Destruction no more, nor is Goku. They found a new candidate. Now, the new candidate would definitely be Raditz, or maybe even somebody else, Piccolo, for somebody that could step up. Or you could just say that Beerus is still the God of Destruction candidate. Either way, it's only been 100 years, which is nothing for Beerus. He can sleep that in a nap. As Goku would then hold Pan's hand, and she was amazed to see her grandfather again. Goku was happy to talk with her for a short while as they sit by an old tree. Now, Goku came here because Pan is the last people who remembers Goku, and she was dying. Goku would sit with her and tell her how proud he is, and that is she scared. And she says, I've lived such a long life, I've seen all my friends go away, but I know that the other world seems pretty nice. You'll come visit me, won't you? And Goku says, yes, I will. And Pan would then pass away in Goku's arms, as she was the last member who knows Son Goku. Now, Goku is more of a legend on the planet. They know that he's a deity, a god. But Pan knows who Goku truly is, a good man. And then when Pan opens her eyes, she's now in the reception desk of the other world, landing, she would see all of her friends, her family. Everyone was waiting for her. As then, landing right next to her would be Goku himself, who can visit anytime he wants. He would then walk with Pan towards the family, their friends, as they all smiled at Goku, happy to see him once again. As then the all 12 universes were brought into peace. And that is it for this series, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think down below of Goku finding true happiness and the happy ending of this series. Make sure to stay on the lookout for the community polls, and make sure to post your ideas and to make the vote for the next one. Thank you all so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. Let's get to 50,000 subscribers, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.